Hello and welcome to the Editor's Eye, where we're going to be reviewing all of the Marvel films and in detail. This will be an in-depth insider's look. I'm an editor who works in film and television, and today we're going to be looking at the second Iron Man film. That's Iron Man 2, and first of all a mark, and that's 5.5 out of 10. Not a bad film, not a great film, and I'll explain why. Iron Man 2 starts off pretty well. It's got a good lively first act. You're into the big ego of Tony Stark, and at the same time the mortality. Now that's setting the bar pretty high in plot terms. Tony Stark is going to die? Prepare for disappointment.
Bienvenue au Grand Prix de Monaco historique.
As soon as we arrive in Monaco, as soon as we hit the beginning of the second act, the film starts to fall apart.
Got any other bad ideas?
Yes. How about having Tony Stark suddenly appear in the Monaco Grand Prix? In sporting realism terms, ridiculous. But as if that's not crazy enough, some guy with whip things turns up and starts slicing cars in half. You've seen him at the beginning of the film because his dad, or you think it's his dad, died, but it doesn't really connect with anything. You don't really know what's going on, you don't really care. And really, from this point on, the film dissolves into a series of scenes that don't really join up. Take the ridiculous scene where War Machine comes in, basically to tell Iron Man to stop smashing things up, and so they just end up smashing things up. It's not really relating to anything, it's just an excuse to have a fight sequence. Just like the whole Grand Prix was just a prop, a backdrop for the Whiplash scene. There's a kind of gratuity about the filmmaking, a sort of bloatedness that you quite often get with sequel films. A feeling that you've got to have more of things, so more Iron Man enemies for Iron Man to fight in the final act. Things are laid on thick constantly, with a trowel. Like the Hammer character played by Sam Rockwell. Starts off well, the script's pretty funny, it's a good character, good actor, but it just goes so over the top and just takes it beyond plausibility and believability.
What do you mean? That's the bird. This is the bird. Yeah. Pulled a lot of strings to get this bird. This is a great bird.
It's a beautiful.
We got this all the way from Russia.
There's something forced about the characterisation and also the plot. The sort of the riddle of your heart thing, this idea that you find something that's just connected to the shape that is seen in the buildings, kind of meaningless, and it's supposed to mean something emotionally because it's his dad's place, but it doesn't connect to anything. It's just there to drive the plot forward. And where exactly does it drive the story to? Well, to the most unfortunate part of the whole film, and honestly, for me, the most unfortunate part of the whole MCU, a section I call Inventanium.
Congratulations, sir. You have created a new element.
Inventing a new element? I mean, give me a break. I mean, it could have been a molecule or a new energy source, but an entirely new element. That's scientifically ridiculous. But on top of that, the method of doing it seems to be using just brute force, whilst looking like an extra out of a 80s pop promo. All of that aside, that's not the big problem with this for me. It's a structural script writing problem, and it's a big one. You've got an all-stakes situation here. Tony Stark's facing his own mortality. You couldn't really have the stakes any higher. So what do the writers do? Inventanium.
You have created a new element.
It's criminally weak storytelling. You write yourself into a corner and then you just write yourself out of it. Inventanium. So the middle of the films were really weak, the second act. And the third act's a bit disappointing as well, just lots of Iron Men flying around everywhere. Having said all of which, it has a heart.
At the end of it, that was it.
And I'm not talking about an Inventanium heart either, I'm talking about a human heart. It's got humour and character, and it's the relationship between Robert Downey Jr. and Gwyneth Paltrow.
Did you bring me strawberries? Did you know that there's only one thing on Earth that I'm allergic to?
Strawberries. Mm-hmm. This is progress, Pepper. I knew there was a correlation between you and this.
I need you.
I need you too. That's what I'm trying to.
Good characterisation, good relationship, well acted. It's good to see. So that's it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and then why not do something useful?